Okay, so today's lesson, we're just mostly doing a review of things that you should have learned in the past, reviewing rules for how you multiply decimals and how you divide decimals, and then we'll move on to multiplying and dividing decimals when one or both are negative. It's really no more difficult to do it when they're negative than if they're positive, so it shouldn't be difficult. To review the rules, you're going to multiply normally, and what I mean by that is you're just going to ignore the decimal points when you multiply. You do not need to line up your decimal points. When you add and subtract decimals, you have to make sure that your decimals line up so that you're subtracting the right place value from the right place value. But when you're multiplying, you're essentially ignoring the decimal places until the very end. Then you are going to count how many decimal places there are in each number, add them together, and then make sure you have that many decimal places in your answer. So as an example, we have 23.1 times 0.003. I could actually write this number with no decimal places whatsoever. I could start with that. I'm not going to do that though. I like to see them in there, but I could do it without writing them in at all. It's a pretty easy thing because all I have to do is multiply the 3 times each place value in the 231. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. I had 1 decimal place in this number, 3 decimal places in this number, so I need a total of 4 decimal places in my answer. So starting from the right, I count 1, 2, 3, and 1 more makes 4, which means I have to add a 0, and I'm going to add that 0 at the beginning also. So the correct answer would be 0.0693, which would be 693 ten-thousandths. Okay, next one is one for you to try. So I'll give you a second to do that, and then we'll talk about it. Let's see. Adria, tell me what you got.
I got 21.32.
That is correct. So if we do 51 times 0.41, we get 21.32. Does anyone want to see the actual multiplication of it? How many of you got the right answer? All right, pretty much all of you. Excellent. Okay, let's now talk about the rules for dividing decimals. We did this a little bit on Get More Math at the very beginning of the year. If the divisor is a decimal, and I put a little drawing here with what all the words are called. I always remember what the quotient is, but sometimes it's hard to remember which one's called the divisor and which one's called the dividend, so you know what I'm talking about. So if the divisor, this number out in front, is a decimal, you're going to move the decimal point to the right to make it a whole number. And then move the decimal in the dividend, so move the decimal in this number, the same number of places. And then you just divide normally. You keep the decimal point in the same place in your answer as it is in the dividend. So wherever it ends up here, you just move it to the top. So if the decimal were here, I would just move it up and I could stick it in my answer right from the beginning. Okay, let's look at some examples of this. 1.15 divided by 0.5 would look like this. So first, I'm going to move the decimal place in my divisor over 1. Since I moved it over 1 in the divisor, I also have to do it in the dividend. So move it over 1. And then I'm going to move it right up to my answer because that's where it's going to be. Now I do 5 into 11. 5 goes into 11 twice, minus 10. I have a remainder of 1. Bring down the 5. 5 goes into 15 3 times evenly, so my answer is 2.3. Okay, here's a really nice, long, scary looking decimal. We have, the hardest thing about this one though is just making sure you write the right number of zeros when you copy the problem. Divide it by 0.0002. Okay, I need to move the decimal over 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So over here I also go 1, 2, 3, 4 places. And I'm just going to move it up to my answer because I know that's where it's going to be. 2, I have to go clear over here to take 2 into 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Minus 10 is 0. When I bring down the 3, 2 goes into 3 once, but we do have a remainder. So in this case, I'm going to keep going. Since this number is already after the decimal, I can continue to add zeros. Now 2 goes into 10 5 times with a remainder of 0. Once you get that remainder of 0, then you are done. Fix this little extra line over here in the 5. Okay, I am going to have you guys try the next one and also the 2 on the next slide, and then we'll talk about the answers to those. Okay, let's look at this example first. Michaela, what did you get as an answer? 2,000. 2,000 is the correct answer. Let's take a quick look at this because there were some of you who did not have 2,000 as I was starting to walk around. If we're dividing by 0.006, we have to move the decimal over 1, 2, 3 places. Right now the decimal for the 12 is at the end of the 12, so to move it over 1, 2, 3 places means adding 3 zeros. 6 goes into 12 twice with a 0 remainder, and then since the rest are zeros, we do need to finish all of the zeros because our decimal place is over here. So it gives us an answer of 2,000. Any questions about that? Okay, next problem. Taryn, what did you get as an answer? 2. Yes, 2. Oh, right, no. 21. It's not 2.1, it's 21. Yeah. Because if you have 0.6 into 12.6, you're moving your decimal over 1 and 1. 6 goes into 12 twice, into 6 once. Your decimal is here, so it's 21. I think when I dropped my pen yesterday, it negatively affected its ability to write because it's skipping a lot today. Okay, Zoe, what did you get for the next one?
70.
70 is correct. Good. So 0.007 into 0.49. We have to move the decimal over 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, which means adding a 0. 7 goes into 49 7 times evenly, and then 0. So 70. Okay. Last step. To multiply or divide decimals when one or both are negative. You are just going to follow the same rules as when you multiply and divide integers. So the rules are the same. So the example we have a negative times a positive. What's my answer going to be? Negative or positive? It's going to be negative. So you can ignore the negative sign for now when you multiply and just do 6.1 times 0.02. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. I need 3 decimal places, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. So I have 0.122, and then I just have to remember to write my answer as negative. Okay, next example has a negative divided by a negative. So what's my answer going to be? Positive. So I can truly just ignore those negative signs. So 3.4 into 10.2. Move the decimal over 1 and 1. Now I'm doing 34 into 102, and that goes in evenly 3 times. So my answer is just 3. Okay, I believe there's 2 on the next slide for you to try. Those are our last 2. I think I have an exit ticket also. No, I don't. No, but I have these applications. Did I put this on yours?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. It's not on mine. I have an old thing here. So go ahead and try these. Okay, and then we'll look at the two applications. Okay, let's go over these answers. McKenna, what did you get for the first one?
I got 0.0162.
Good. 0.0162. So if we're doing 5.4 times 3 thousandths, 3 times 4 is 12, 3 times 5 is 15, and 1 is 16. We need 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4 gives us an answer of 0.0162. And it's positive because we multiply negative times a negative. Okay, next one. Pat, what did you get as an answer?
I got -6.
Not quite. Carly?
Negative 6.1.
Negative 6.1. So if we do 9.2 into 56.12, we're moving the decimal over 1 and 1. So we're going to have a decimal here in our answer. So 92 does go into 561 6 times, but we have to subtract 552. I just need a new tip on my pen. I think that's the problem. 7 minus 2 is 9. And then when we bring down the 2, 92 goes into 92 once, not 0 times. Maybe that's what's reading. And then we have to remember to make that negative. Okay. Application. My applications, I think, are mostly using positive numbers, just practicing using decimals. Rachel can earn $4.75 each week walking dogs. After 8 weeks, how much money will she earn? Riley, what would I do to solve this problem?
4.75 times 8.
Good. 4.75 times 8. Did anyone do this already? A couple of you did? Okay. We're going to just do it together. Go ahead and do it along with me as I do it. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 4 is 60. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 6 is 38. I just kind of automatically stuck the decimal point in because I knew it was going to have 2, but you can wait until the end to do that. You actually should wait till the end. Make sure you don't make any mistakes. So you get an answer of $38. Those of you who did it, is that what you got?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, John jogged 12.5 miles last week. He jogged the same distance every day except Saturday. How many miles did he jog each day? Okay, how would I solve this problem? Braden, what do you think?
Divide 12.5 divided by 6.
Good, 12.5 divided by 6. In real life, our decimals are usually very manageable like this. They're not long, crazy ones like in our examples. So 6 goes into 12 twice, evenly. Bring down the 5. 6 does not go into 5, so I'm going to have a remainder of 5. I have to keep adding zeros until I run out. Let's see, 6 times 8 is 48. I'm going to have a remainder of 2. Bringing down a 0 gives me 3, which is going to be 18, and give me a remainder of 2. So what's going to happen there? It's going to keep repeating. So in this case, you could say he jogs 2.083 repeating miles. Or in this case, I would probably allow you to round it off and say something like he jogs about 2.1 miles each day or 2.08 miles each day. Okay, any questions? Oh, I do have do I have this on yours too? Yeah. Okay, sorry. I have my notes from last year and I forgot that I had printed out these ones. All right, Alexia borrows $100.50 from her mom to buy a new phone. Her mom wants her to pay the money back in 6 weeks. how much will she need to pay her mom each week? So thinking in terms of negative numbers and how we might use a negative number to do this, Katie, how might I write an equation to solve this? Could I make one of those numbers negative? Yeah, why might I make that number negative? Yeah, she's borrowing the money, so I would have negative $100.50 divided by 6. I don't really need to put the negative sign when I do my division. I could add it in at the end. So 6 goes into 10 once. Minus 6 gives us a remainder of 4. 6 is 36. Bringing down 5. 6 times 7 is 42. Minus 42 would give me a remainder of 3. Bringing down the 0. 6 goes into 35 times. And it does have a 0 remainder at that point. So we could say, actually, we're not going to use the negative sign in our answer. We're just going to say she would need to pay her mom $16.75 each week. We might say that each week if she had a bank account, we might say that her account would deduct that much. So we have some word that implies that that money is going out, not coming into her. Okay, next problem is about me. I don't actually have Kindle Unlimited anymore, but when I wrote this word problem, I did. I used to pay $9.99 each month for Kindle Unlimited, which is automatically deducted from my checking account. After 6 months, what is the change in the balance of my checking account? Ailey, how would I solve this?
You would multiply 959 times negative 999 times 6.
Okay, good. I would want to make this a negative 999 times 6. So 6 times 9 is 54. 54 again plus 5 is 59. 6 times 9 is 54 plus 5 is 59 again. So over 6 months' time, you would say that the change is negative 59. Whoops, why did I write 7 when I said a 5? $59.94. That's a lot of money to have Kindle Unlimited, and I wasn't using it a whole lot. So that's why I stopped getting Kindle Unlimited, because it was better for me, cheaper for me just to buy the books I wanted to read. Okay, any questions? There is an exit ticket. I knew I added an exit ticket to this. All right, I'm going to pass out index cards. You can do your work on cards. And there's no paper homework for this. It will only be Get More Math today.